What's up, y'all?
And we're live! Quarter Life Critics!
What is up? Good evening.
Today is Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. And I am joined today by my best friends, Grant.
What up?
And Patrick.
Hello.
We are the Quarter Life Critics, the only show where we review the best TV and film the galaxy has to offer. Let's get trippy up there, you know. Never assume. Today,
Have you seen anything outside this galaxy?
they could have the best TV, the best movies, and we
I'm
just
not
can't.
comfortable
We
with
can't
that
understand them. But if there were any human beings alive that would understand them, be able to critically analyze them, and really give them the thought that they deserve, it would be us, the Quarter Life Critics. And as you know, every episode we select a director to guide us down this galactic, interstellar, international space station rocket shooting
Adventure
in space. And that person is none other than Patrick. Take it away, Patrick, for what we're getting into today.
Hey guys, it's my episode. If you clicked on it, you probably already know what it is, but here's a banner in case you didn't. We're on episode 39, Young Frankenstein, which was 1974. I picked this to be festive. We are just past Halloween. Halloween's pretty fun. Thought we'd get a old kind of crazy movie, you know, a little weird, a little fun, kind of silly, lighthearted, but some spooky fun. So what is this movie, Grant?
Does anybody know?
Is it
Yeah,
just Frankenstein?
No.
What's the difference?
So, this is young Frankenstein, but, it even starts as, I'd say the title switches halfway through the movie. It's young Frankenstein at the beginning, and then it becomes Frankenstein. This movie is a spoof of a film. It's about the grandson of the infamous scientist, Dr. Frankenstein, struggling to prove that his grandfather was not as insane as people believe. He's invited to Transylvania, where he discovers the process that reanimates a dead body. And as much as that description, says that he was really struggling to prove that his grandfather was not that insane, he seemed pretty quickly on board with the reanimation of the dead. It did not take much for this guy to change his mind and really get on board with the cause of reanimating a dead body. So,
Aren't we all just products of our environment, Grant? He's in America. He's surrounded by these critics. They're ridiculing him. They're very impressive people who are like his nerdy students that are very annoying to listen to. But Transylvania, that's a little different, you know? You're out of the classroom. You're
It's
in real
true.
life.
Well, it's only one stop from New York, so it's not that far away.
Direct flight.
Yeah.
Or direct train, actually.
Direct train. This movie was directed by Mel Brooks. Actors are Gene Wilder, Marty Feldman, Bug-Eye, and Terry Garr. 2 Oscar nominations, sound and writing / adapted screenplay. The IMDb, we're sitting at 8.0 out of 10 with 172,000 votes. Budget being $2.8 million with a box office of $86 million, which just seems pretty successful. I feel like this film, from what I've read, is kind of a bit of a cult classic among a lot of people, isn't it?
It was actually being shown at the Cleveland Art Museum on Halloween, and I was considering going. And I thought, but that's kind of a statement to the notoriety. What kind of spoof today would get Oscar nominations and be super profitable and have like a pretty solid IMDb score?
Meet the Blacks? is that one?
Get
up
him out
there?
of the stream.
You guys never seen that film?
No.
Okay. It's a real film. Check it out.
What's the IMDb
Blade.
score?
Let's probably not that
What's
high.
it spoofing?
4.8.
It's almost more than half.
I don't.
I will say one in back in the G and Q days, we had a segment where we rolled and watched one of the bottom 100 on IMDb, and one of those was a spoof film, epic movie with like 1 star, and it was probably one of the worst films I've seen ever. It was horrible.
I remember when those were coming out, like the Meet the Spartans or something, like the 300 spoof or whatever.
Yeah, they had Scary
yeah.
Movie, like that age when they had. It wasn't the same. Yeah, that whatever that actress
Director.
is.
They were hot.
Yeah, Scary Movie. There was like, how many Scary Movies were there? Like 5,
Maybe 8.
Yeah, they were the kings.
It was an age, man. That was 2000 was the first Scary Movie, and it was really making fun of Scream largely, right? But I think I felt like, at least as a kid, that Scary Movie kind of kicked off a new age of parody films for a while. All of which I think they all were pretty bad.
This one was Meet the Blacks was a parody of The Purge, where the black family is getting out of Chicago in hopes of a better life.
Okay. All right.
During like a purge.
I guess so. It's 2016.
Maybe
Yeah,
they're just saying like Southside Chicago is like a purge.
you run with it.
Yeah. So have you guys, question just right off the bat, are you guys familiar with Mel Brooks? Have you guys seen any of his other movies? So
I know the name. I know he's very famous.
I mean, does he have Passion of Christ or something?
No, that's the dude who. That's the actor. This is the director. He's very famous. So he did Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles.
Spaceballs. I've seen Spaceballs.
Yeah, that's like
I'm thinking of Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Very close, so good. Very close.
Tomato.
Yeah. But I think Blazing Saddles is probably what he's like most known for. But they were kind of like odd. I think they're like in the same vein of this. So I was just curious. I haven't really seen them either. I've seen Spaceballs too. I don't remember liking it.
And Gene Wilder's
I remember Spaceballs was pretty fun.
Blazing Saddles too.
And I think one of the women in this movie is also in it too. His
Blazing Saddles is spoof as well.
I think
a satirical take on westerns.
Yeah.
So he's a
funny
guy.
Wise
guy. He's a wise
Weird
guy.
Al. He's like the Weird Al with movies.
I mean, look at him. Yeah, he looks like OG Weird Al. He looks a little funky. So yeah, I was just curious if you guys were familiar. So I'm not super familiar either, but like when I mentioned it to my parents, they were like, "Oh, yeah, Mel Brooks. Yeah, that's Mel Brooks movie." And they had a tone that I was just curious.
A disapproving tone.
Oh no, just like a little like snarky like Mel Brooks movie. Yeah.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
I could see like it's a little cheesy maybe. Parodies. But it's lighthearted fun, right? Like it doesn't take itself too seriously, I don't think. So if you're a serious critic, you might be like Mel Brooks.
But at the same time, I think he does get some, if an art museum showing your movie.
Yeah, he gets props. No, I mean,
yeah.
He's
towing the line.
I thought this was well done satire. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Grant?
Yeah.
As our film buff, we mentioned that the screenplay was written by I think the two of them, but I noticed in the film too they also noted that it was screenplay and screen story by the two of them, and that's something I don't really see. Do you know what the difference is?
I do not. That's something we can look up though.
Patrick, do you know the difference?
No idea.
Well, I think I can explain. I had to look it up too, but basically the screen story is more of a general higher level concept where you're coming up with an idea I'm still not sure why it's credited. It seems like screenplay is the first thing that would be credited as far as like ideas go, because that's when actually the whole story gets written on a piece of paper. But the screen story is just sort of the overall concept. The plot's kind of what happens. But maybe I guess in some situations there could be a difference. Someone comes up with the idea and then passes along to a screenwriter. But in this case, it was
like
the
a
same
little
of
meta
them.
too. So I feel like maybe like it's something he does, It's like a little bit like this, as we'll kind of go into like each of the spoofs, like there's not as much writing like that, like you're kind of like recycling stories, So maybe the story is more important than like the screenplay or something. I don't know.
But I think it was
It's, like,
just the same
interesting.
people. I mean, but the two of them
Yeah,
got credit for
Mm-hmm.
both, and you're like, those Hollywood people always love giving themselves more credit. So
Yeah, just put your name up as many times as you can.
it's all right. We learned something.
Cool. So let's talk about the story in the spoof. So what just going over it kind of generally. Frankenstein, we've got this young Freddie Frank going to Transylvania. He's got a fiance. He meets a beautiful damsel. He meets a creepy assistant who's got wild eyes. And they go on some silly adventures with each other. And there's a lady, Frau, something, and then horses,
You mean Frau Bluscher?
and then the horses go crazy. Exactly,
Winning.
exactly.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah, just consistent. So what were some of the things that you liked about the movie, like in general? Like what about the story stuck out to you? Either you guys can
I'll control the camera.
yeah, go.
I'll go. For me, I thought this movie was. I think it got better over time. Maybe comedy sort of requires that, especially parody, and also parody of things that I'm not familiar with the source material. So I think it took a while to appreciate some of the things. I'm a big parody fan. I like comparing it to the original. So you're watching it for the first time and you're like, it kind of seems almost serious too. It's not as wild or zany as some of these movies that we brought up before, where you're like, the plot doesn't even really matter. I mean, it's so ridiculous that it's not even in reality anymore. Like, this is kind of feasible, and then they put in some hijinks and things are going awry, and like, you could show it to someone, you could show it to me and say, this is the only Frankenstein movie. Like, this is this is what made it so popular, and I might believe it and go, oh yeah, that's funny. It was funny when they did that, but yeah, oh man, he lost his girlfriend, and it's kind of, I could see it, the meta. Whoa, it's so sad, and the flip, and
He sacrificed.
yeah, no, it's deep. So I'm glad I watched it. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Grant?
Yeah, I think adding to that, it took a while a second for me to get into it as well, because it's a parody, but it's also an older movie made in 1970. So I feel like whenever you watch an older movie, you kind of have to like get a feeling for the vibe and the mood, and especially a comedy, like the humor back then. And so I couldn't tell like if it was being, I know it was a spoof, but like what Quinn said, like, is this like it starts out pretty serious, seemingly. And I think that's because the humor was more dry at times. I think a second watch would be even funnier, but it didn't take that long to get into it. And it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, with I think as soon as his assistant was like introduced, you start to realize that like she's just like a ditzy broad, like that's her archetype.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets more chaotic and ridiculous. So it was funny. I was laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
And it was more enjoyable than I thought. Maybe the first 10 minutes, I was like, I don't know, but it coaxed me in for sure.
what threw me off too is the Grant, you said it's an older film and it's kind of different, but it's really meant. I mean, it's in black and white and it's meant to mimic the films, the original films that came out in the 30s. Because if you think about this movie, 1974, we just watched a few episodes, Jaws, that came out in 1975.
Yeah,
it's not a
Yeah.
just a sign of the times. It's all this purposeful, like, damn, this film does feel like it's 100 years old.
They're in a dusty castle, and they're like, yeah, feels like they're so old. And dead.
All the transition.
Yeah, it's
like the.
Mhm. Yeah, Emily at the start. I've seen like part of this movie before, and I knew I wanted to pick it for the podcast eventually, so I didn't rewatch it. But I was like, this is so funny, and I need to rewatch it again. But at the start, and I hadn't really seen the start, Emily was like the science, and I'm like, yeah, I would spend too much time on that, but it's tough because it like
medulla
seems serious.
oblongata.
Yeah, exactly, because it does seem serious, and you're like, what is this about? Like, what are they talking about? She's like, that's nonsense. Like, what are they doing? I'm like, you just keep going. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. But yeah,
Yeah,
it is weird.
Like that when like they set up the whole lightning thing, and then at the end he just brought up the whole table. Anyways,
Yeah.
what was the point of him setting it up and running down, and then you're like, send me up?
Yeah, it's just to be extra, just to be extra.
Yeah.
Cool. So, wow, I'm glad you guys liked it. It's not like your typical Halloween movie, it's not scary. It's not really spooky or anything. It's just kind of funny. And I think it's a good time, it's lighthearted and a little weird to get into, but I think once you accept the path, it's a good time. So I'm glad you guys both seem to enjoy it. So we got a little bit of homework here. We did emphasis on spoof. So and there were some scenes, throughout the movie. And we kind of, what were some of your favorite spoofed scenes? Quinn, why don't you, or Grant, take it away.
Well, my favorite, it's like really less of a scene and more just like a shot, was when they found his library and they were looking through the books and they found the book and it was called How I Did It. That was like, I was cracking up. Like, oh, this is the one. This is how he brought Frankenstein back to life.
And he's like some great discovery, he's like, I think this is the secret library.
Yeah, right. And it's just How I Did It by Victor Frankenstein. That was great. That was probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's very silly, but they did such a good job acting too. They're just fully committing to this like chaotic weirdness.
I love Gene Wilder too. I mean,
dude, Gene Wilder's so
I could just
funny.
watch him.
His eyes are
talk forever.
Yeah, his eyes are so animated, and
he's like, I mean, it's that Willy Wonka. I mean, it's everything.
Yeah, maybe we should watch Blazing Saddles at some point. I'd be interested to see it.
Cool.
Quinn, what'd you like?
Do you have a way of showing off my favorite spoof there?
Would you like to for me to share it?
Yeah, I would like for you to share it, and because I told you I didn't watch the previous films, but that's a total lie. Of course, in Son of Frankenstein, there's a commentary on the large doors handles, these knockers, if you will, and young Frankenstein really thinks about this critically and puts their own spin on it. Let's take a look.
Yeah, quite an artistic take, if I will say. All right.
What knockers?
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Shank ya. So I love that one. Actually, I didn't even realize. Like you really, this, like you said, you gotta watch it again too. Like that handle is just. Why is it so big, dude? I didn't even think about it. Like I'm looking at like the
So
original
big.
one too. I mean, and like a normal one that you would expect, like ding, ding, ding.
Wait, in the original, they're big as well.
No, it's like a normal.
Oh yeah, normal one.
No,
Okay.
normal one. Yeah, that one's jumbo sized.
Yeah, for the joke. That's good.
So
Yeah.
that was my spoof.
I really liked the the inspector. Dude, I thought his like wooden arm thing was so funny.
Oh my god.
Just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Him playing darts.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
shit, yeah.
He had a like a monocle, but it's over an eye patch. Just doesn't make any sense. Guy doesn't know what he's talking about. The end, it's like a peaceful resolution. You know, he's like, "Oh, like why didn't you just say so? Like we would love to have him." After like inciting a mob, accent's just ridiculous. Outfit's ridiculous. You know, it's just like a.
Well, he gained sentience, right? Or I mean, not to nitpick, but
But I mean, it's still like it's like a giant monster that you were
giant monster.
like not like just he went like full 180, you know.
He did.
And they
He-
went
he
to have
caved,
a barbecue
He caved really quick.
and invited everyone to have a barbecue. So it's just
After
I thought
tearing
he
down
was pretty
someone's
funny.
house.
I think the blind hermit scene was really funny too, because you're watching it and you're like thinking that it's ridiculous, like of a concept, but like the fact that they did that in the original where they have a blind man and he doesn't know, he can't see him, and he's being so hospitable, like this was funny because it was making fun of how ridiculous that is. I think watching the original, you'd be like, this is ridiculous. Like this is so dumb. Like, oh, he can't see him, so he's just being kind. Oh, he thinks he's a mute. Like, apparently it's almost like directly out of the original. Like it's like the same exact scene, except some differences. Which
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, things just go according to plan. You know, you get the food and the drink and the smoke.
the cigar.
Yeah, I think there's a smoke or some sort of cigar.
yeah. Why don't we see that scene? If I think we got it somewhere.
How would we see what wizardry? Oh,
Are we
here
ready? Yeah, I think this is the wizardry here.
Do we like this? No. Oops. Sorry. Forget I ever did that. Oh, what am I doing? I'm messing it up. Try that again.
It's in the.
I see.
Oh, here we go. Is that fun?
There we go. There's our pretty little faces.
So we got the blind.
You got to be
monk.
watching on YouTube Live. Sorry. If you're just an audio listener, I'm sorry.
Skip
Check it out on
ahead.
YouTube. Skip ahead.
We got the blind monk, and he's greeting our monster at the door.
But your hand is frozen, my child. How does a nice bowl of soup sound to you, huh?
It's so big.
Yes, well, I know what it means to be cold and hungry. Yes, and how much it means to have a little kindness from a stranger. Are you ready for your soup?
Just with the zipper in his neck.
Hold out your bowl, then. Oh, my friend, you don't know what your visit means to me. How long I've waited for the pleasure of another human being. Sometimes in our preoccupation with worldly matters, we tend to forget the simple pleasures, the basis for true happiness. Yes.
And I think almost the wine is almost even funnier because he just fucking clocks the glass and it shatters.
Yeah.
It's all pretty good. It's pretty good. Good clip, Grant. Good clip.
Yeah, that one was probably one of my favorite humorous clips. I was cracking up. Just like it's really good how he's like falling in the bowl and then he's like and yeah, you have to see it. But very funny. That whole scene. Yeah, I thought it did a great job at spoofing. You know, I didn't know that was an original scene, but it makes it even better. And they do a good job. Like you don't have to know it's a spoof. It's a ridiculous concept for a blind man to be serving a monster.
Just spooning hot soup.
And he really only has one weakness is fire, and you sort of forget about it, but it comes up.
And lightning.
He like trusts people too. He's like willing to like try again and just always gets burned by the fire. All right, that was a Grant. Any other words for your clip, or we good to keep rolling?
Let's keep rolling.
All right, Quinn.
Yes.
A little bit of Frankenstein charades.
I think this is where, to give a little prelude, this is where the movie turned for me. So I think this happened a little bit earlier.
Okay.
And I was on the fence a bit. I didn't think it was a bad movie, you know, but no sounds were coming out of my mouth. I'll tell you that. I think this was the first one where I was like, all right.
What'd you say? Did you say,
where's my ice cream?
Wait, let's see what made Quinn want some ice cream.
Let's roll.
Oh, Doctor, I'm frightened.
Don't worry. Good.
What is he doing with the cigarette?
Good. What's the matter? Quick, give him the... Quick, give him the... What? Give him the what? 3 syllables. First syllable sounds like...
Head! Sounds like head! Bed! Said!
Said.
Second syllable! Little bird! This, that, the!
Said,
Said,
dirty word. He said a dirty word.
sounds like, to give!
Said, give. Give him a sedative.
Sedative!
On the nosy. Sedative?
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. Pretty hilarious.
What does he mean? He said a dirty word?
Because he said so he's like, said a dirty word? Is that that was his guess?
Yeah. I was continuing this. I get it now.
Even though it was 3 syllables. It's so funny because like literally like 10 seconds before he's like, you have the sedative ready, right?
Yeah.
She's like, yes, doctor. And then he's like, he showed it. They're like, what? Give him the what? Give him the what? It's so funny.
Yeah, that is good. That's good. That is like a good turning point too, where it's like the first one where it's like first scene where it's like clear that like this isn't a traditional monster movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's a comedy. Full blown. Yeah.
So
well, that's why I thought how I did it was that was a strong hint, and then this was the answer. This was full blown.
Yeah. Well, not quite full blown. I think my clip might be full blown.
Only one way to find out.
There is only one way. But yeah, we could save our opinions. But I think mine may be the jumping of the shark.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, Damen und Herren, from what was once an inarticulate mass of lifeless tissues, May I now present a cultured, sophisticated man about town.
What's going on?
Hit it! If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes, or cutaway coat, perfect fits. Dressed up like $1 million trooper, trying mighty hard to look like Gary Cooper. Come, let's mix where Rockefellers walked with sticks or umbrellas in their midst.
I love him.
Yeah, so respectfully, I think mine is the full set where the monster and him have a tap dance number that
I think I read too that they argued over that scene too. I think Gene Wilder wanted to put it in, and Brooks something, Mel Brooks did not, and
That was too much.
too much. It was crossing the line to have the monster dressed up and do a little dance up there. I think it came out well. It was a funny moment.
I thought it was pretty funny too. Fire once again making an appearance and really just separating the man and his creation.
A lot of random vegetables or things being thrown at them seemingly out of nowhere.
I guess you didn't have popcorn back then, so you had like squash. I don't know.
Squash it all over my suit.
Yeah. Crazy how that happens. Okay, cool. Well, that definitely had some good. Oh,
I know. I like how the crowd, instead of it being like, oh, he got they were upset with the performance. So like they didn't care about the monster like just getting angry or freaking out. They're like, the tap dance sucks now. Boo.
yeah.
The villagers were a good ensemble.
Yeah. From like science presentation to musical number. And then it's like, let's focus on the quality of the dance.
Yeah, it's a mid.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's a critic. It's really pretty rough. All right, cool. And we just got one more non-standard segment. Let's examine that hump. This was said to the assistant Igor by Frederick. And no hump was examined, and the hump I just was moving around all over the place. Not really sure what was under that cloak, but who knows? But we're going to examine some characters here. Which character, because it is kind of an ensemble. It's like a package deal. You could even say they like work better together. But we're going to pick our favorites here. Quinn, who's your favorite character? Who made you want ice cream the most?
Oh, without a doubt, it's Frankenstein. I mean, I think just the big dumb humor, violent physical humor too, really gets me craving the cookies and cream.
Wait, not Dr. Frankenstein or the monster?
Not Dr. Frankenstein. Not Dr. Frankenstein. A good old the creature,
monster.
I guess. Yes, the creature, the monster of Frankenstein. Yes.
Monster.
Oh, that was very confusing.
I know it was confusing. I was thinking about it in Chinese, to be honest.
I was especially confused because you said you could watch Gene Wilder all day.
That's the same thing I thought.
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be Gene Wilder.
I think he's good. I think he's great in the film. I think as far as comedic humor goes, I think the creature takes it.
Yeah.
Is that what they credit him as? Is it the creature, the monster? Peter Boyle.
Frankenstein's monster.
I just was thinking of the when he gave that presentation, it was like Dr. Frankenstein presents like the creature or something.
Oh,
So he's my favorite.
All right, Grant, who got you giggling?
I think just from the start gets you right into it is the bug eye. That's how he's credited in our script. I don't know if he has. I mean, Marty
Igor.
Igor.
Literally Igor.
Igor. Oh. Yeah. I mean, it's just he's like the comedic relief, and he's the one getting them into trouble a lot, and he's like dumber than the monster himself. So it's.
But he's like helping the most. He's like helping the most.
Yeah. I thought he added a lot, and he was a good actor. Like, he's a great actor. So,
and he really looks like that.
It really looks like that. I think he's necessary. I think you need someone who's goofy like that. You know, I don't know what the original, like, who filled that role, and if it was more like of a straight actor, like more serious. But it added a lot to this humor in this film.
Mm-hmm. That's also my pick. He was also like physical comedy. I thought he was always like scampering around and putting himself in weird spots, playing random instruments, just doing weird stuff. Thought he had some pretty good one-liners. Thought he just had pretty much any time he was involved, I was like laughing or just like very amused. So he earned his hump. Okay. My least favorite character. That's tough. I didn't really. The fiance was pretty like Bride of Frankenstein. Fiance to Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Least favorite, but I feel like that's kind of necessary. You need like a foil, I guess, to the ditzy blonde. But I didn't really laugh at pretty much anything.
What about when she was banging Frankenstein or the monster?
It was just a little bit of rape.
It was like a little rapey, but then he turned her.
He did.
She's into it.
Yeah. 7 or 8 quickies and they all leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that age as well, but
yeah, that was probably that I would agree that she was like, she made me laugh the least, unfortunately. But I think she's kind of supposed to be unlikable, right? Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
Like one big payoff for the
annoying.
Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little off book. I thought the least funniest person was the inspector. I know. I don't. He just had a different style that I wasn't a huge fan of. He's up there. He's leading the charge. Wooden prosthetics, and he's got the funny eye. But I don't know. If I had to pick one, I think I'd pick him.
That's fair. You're entitled to your opinion. Cool. Well, I think, if you had to pick him, that's fine. So he definitely.
I mean, he sucks. He wasn't funny at all. If you thought he was funny, you're dumb.
Oh,
that's what I gotta say about the inspector.
Got him.
That doesn't seem like that's a rational take, Quinn. So that.
Oh, thank you.
That's totally chill and balanced. I did forget to do the report card, so we're just gonna go on to the GPQ patented review. Just keep rolling.
Report card, support card.
Yeah. So I believe what did we clock in earlier at the IMDb rating?
Is this the?
Oh yeah, what is it? Yeah, I'm rolling forward too far back.
This is the. All right. Oh, the report. Yeah, no report card. This is the GPQ patented review where we decide whether the true rating of Young Frankenstein is over or under the IMDb rating.
And it's sitting at a
8.0 with 172,000 votes. Wow.
That's pretty hefty.
I can't believe we almost just said the
Well,
number and the number of votes. That wouldn't have the
That would-
same. Yeah.
well,
way
people
too.
would have been so confused.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's a good thing there appear to
not
be no
familiar with
live
patent
viewers
law.
because we could just take that out in post
That's the
production.
Pat. That's the glitch that always happens.
Oh.
It's the Grant brought this up years ago.
Mhm.
That there's always the 0 next to them. I said,
And
"Don't
they just
worry, I
cut
filed a
off-
bug report."
They cut off the first couple.
Yeah, it's
Figured,
like integers. They can only hold like a certain value. It's past that, so it just glitches out. It goes back to 0.
Right. But they need to get working on that bug. It's really persistent.
It's almost better, that we don't know.
It keeps you humble.
Yeah, well, you don't need that kind of pressure, of thousands of.
I mean, my
tens
YouTube
of
paychecks are like
thousands.
out of control, so I know people are listening, watching, not listening. Please watch.
Yeah, especially
Look at me.
critiquing, maybe like that guy in India, which was just one of many comments.
yeah.
Received on our video.
A star or something.
Yeah.
He's going in the Hall
I
of
think
Fame.
we. But
I
he's
liked
one of
his
the top-rated
bullets.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fellow creator.
We pinned his comment.
Yeah, it's pinned. It's pinned for. Is it pinned? Pin it.
No, but we
All right,
should.
We'll
I'll
pin
pin
it.
it. It's on
We
G-
were just
yeah.
like, no idea what he's talking about, but he sounds like he knows.
It could get lost in the other comments, and we don't want.
That's
that.
right. That's right. It could get
See.
lost.
All right, let's hone it in one. There's a lot of comments. There's a lot of viewers,
It's hard.
They're
but
waiting.
we got
It's called a
to
tease.
give them an answer.
Yeah,
What are we giving this?
it's hard. They get every single time the IMDb hits it. It's
Hits it.
never easy.
It's never.
Well, it can't sometimes, but rarely easy. If it's 8
Better
is
the
pretty
movies
good.
are identified pretty well.
Mhm.
Eight's up there.
who's
I'll go
going
first. I'll go first. I'll go first.
Oh, it's Patrick.
I'm gonna go over. Spoofs are hard. Old timey movies are not my favorite, especially old timey comedy. Especially old timey comedy that's supposed to be even older time. And there's not a lot of movies that I just find myself laughing at and enjoying from like pretty much the entire duration. It's well acted. It has the setting's cool. Feels like everything is quite tight and well done. And not only that, but I'm just laughing and having a good time. Watching the clips with you guys, laughing, having a good time. It's repeatable. Feels like like you guys are saying, the more you watch it. I've seen it like half of it or so before. I felt like I appreciated the things I saw before even more than what I didn't. And I think that is the hallmark of a fabulous movie. So I'm going to go over.
I'll
up
jump
next?
I'll go next. I'm gonna piggyback on there. I'm gonna go over as well. I think a hallmark of an 8 and above, or let's just say above an 8, right? Because this is over. Is a movie that like you would want to watch again and both recommend to others. And I think this fits both of those. The fact that I could enjoy it, and I think all of us could enjoy it on a first watch. I feel like this is really a good film for repeatability. And also from none of us having seen, well, I don't know if you have, Patrick. None of us have seen the original. I think that's really hard to do. So not only it's like what Quinn said, you don't have the source material. This is literally a parody. It's like listening to a Weird Al song and not knowing the original. It's just kind of a cheesy Weird Al song,
50% of the jokes are going over our head.
Yeah. The scene, and still great. And I want to watch it again. And now I know, you can really get in the mood, the lighthearted, fun mood. So I'm going over. And that leaves one more.
There was one. I believe, I solemnly do swear, I think I'm gonna go over 2. I think
Say it with conviction.
I'm going over.
The triple red.
The QLC, Quarter Life Critics Certified Triple Red.
Wreck. I agree with a lot of the points that were brought up just now. I think in my head, the whole time through, it was probably an under. And then it finished. We're having this conversation and thinking about parody, thinking about Weird Al. I go, it's done well. It's done very well. And who knows? Maybe it'd be pushed into the upper echelons of 9 and above if I, was a giant film buff and I knew all the. I mean, I've never seen Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, anything Frankenstein. Hell,
You called
dude.
the monster
I called the
Frankenstein.
monster. Classic rookie.
You call that
Classic
monster the
mistake.
creature.
That's like the one question on like the high school test. That's like a give me. Like, who read the book?
Yeah.
That's right. I got it totally wrong. Oh God, I got no extra credit. And there were parts that made me laugh out loud, and I also enjoyed something that wasn't brought up is the, I guess, soundtrack you would call it. I tried to pay a little bit more attention to it, and it was pretty fitting. And maybe that's also just pulled straight from the older movies, or
Well, it was nominated for the Oscar sound.
Ooh.
So
Look at me. Look at
Yeah.
me. What else do you have? What were the other the awards?
writing /
Writing.
adapted screenplay.
Okay, that makes sense. And sound. Is that different? I never always forget. There's like a sound and is there a sound and a soundtrack?
It's like a 1974 Oscars too. So like,
Did they even have
They had
sound
2
back-
categories. They had movie and sound.
sound?
and screenplay.
Oscars sound
Writing.
mixing and editing were merged into best sound. What is sound, anyways?
Stuff you hear.
So I don't think it's the soundtrack.
No.
So
It's
it's
literally what you're hearing.
mixing and editing, all the foil, all those.
When the monster hits the dance floor. and
It's
really
called
loud.
now it's called best sound mixing, I think.
Academy Award for Best Sound
Best
recognizes the
Sound
best sound
mixing.
mixing, recording, design,
All
and
right.
editing in a film.
Yes,
We're
it had
doing
great
circles.
sound. Triple
Either
red.
AI was totally screwed or right. Anyways, great noises that were going into my eardrums. And if I was sitting, if I had cable and it came on, I wouldn't turn it off.
I'd turn it up.
Turn it up.
Give me that sound.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I'd say
Well,
that.
I know you said that it was a spoof, and I had that going into it, but then watching it, like we said, was just I wasn't getting that comedy. But one of my first comments, and should have been an early indication, is I have a quote when he's in the classroom. He's talking about his grandfather, and he said, "My grandfather's work was doo-doo." And they were all like, like it was seriously, which I like in retrospect, I'm like, okay, yeah.
It's a lot funnier. Yeah.
I just wrote it down like it was ridiculous. Like that's supposed to be a serious like insult. Like it was a joke. So that one
And
went
he,
over my head.
he
a
like
little bit.
kneed the homeless dude in the balls or something. Which
Dude,
it was
I don't
more
know what
serious
was
at the
going on
time.
with that guy.
Yeah.
But you look back, you're like, dude, he just paid him $1 to hit him in the
They
nuts.
gave him an
Another
extra
dollar.
$1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. That dude was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, was Emily or she wasn't buying the whatever you squeeze the back of the head? And you're like,
She was like, what? She's like, this makes no sense. What is this? And I'm like, just keep going with it. Go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, buy in. So that's the last thing I had. Oh, my other comment of funny note was when the little girl sent it. She was like on the teeter totter, and she just woo. I thought that was pretty funny too. It was a good mix of physical comedy.
Yeah.
I think he kills her in the original
In the book, he kills her.
because he puts her in the water or something, and she doesn't float. I don't know. I just saw some excerpt that said, "Oh, he learns that everything doesn't float because she's
But-
dead." He kills her.
Shouldn't she float though? Like, right?
If you can't swim, do you float?
When you were what swimming in high school, right? Isn't it like floating?
Very easy. You just kick back, relax, float to the top. Okay.
All right. Any other comments before introducing our next time? What we're doing?
I got
No.
nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so next time we are doing an episode, an epic on
Epic-sode.
a series that many people, including myself and Patrick, have been anticipating for years. We are going to watch Arcane Season 2, which is coming out.
Choo
in 3 days.
choo!
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get on the hype train.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so Arcane Season 2, Act 1, which is 3 episodes, comes out this weekend. And the following weekend is 3 episodes for Act 2. And the following weekend is 3 more for Act 3. That's right.
This train's excited.
Quinn, woohoo!
Yes.
Quinn has not seen Arcane, so he's in for a real big treat.
I got a lot of viewing, a lot of hours. I'm about to be grinding, you know. I'm thinking about taking some time off work. Just I'm
Glued
going
to that
I'm going
screen.
in. I'm gonna throw it on the big screen. Even this is not laptop viewing. This is
No,
big
oh,
screen.
There's a big screen viewing.
He's escalated it.
Good. I remember when I was in college studying film, and my film teacher recommended a film, and I was going on a bus ride to New York City. I said, "This is perfect. I'll watch it on my laptop on the way to New York City." He was like, "Don't bother. Like, wait till you watch it on real screen." I was like, "Oh,
Okay, boomer. No, but he has a point.
he has a point. You need a sound bar."
I think he like don't even bother with the sound part.
Mute it.
I think real sound audio files would be disgraced at that comment, but
Even
you
on a
definitely need
soundbar.
something more than your TV speakers.
That's what I'm saying. You need a sound bar.
Right, but I mean like
That people
I
are
don't
even
think
happy
the-
with that, Grant.
I don't think the
Yeah, at
screen
least, that's
size.
the
Yeah,
minimum.
that's like a minimum. That's like
Yeah.
you
That's
need
like
at
they're
least
still upset at you.
yeah.
No, the minimum was TV speakers.
That's out of the question.
Can you
Did that
get
for a
worse than a
while.
TV speaker?
Laptop speaker.
Phone
A
speaker.
phone speaker.
You could watch
Movie
it. You could watch
on-
the whole movie on your phone using the
have
phone
you ever-
speakers.
Full movie on a phone. I don't know if I've ever done that.
Full movie on a phone. A
Like
movie?
iPad.
No.
Full
Definitely
movie on
episodes of things.
I feel like that is really aging us, because I feel like the younger generation has had to have watched a full movie on a phone, right?
Well, you never have phone speakers. You always got like AirPods.
I bet like if you grew up with a full smartphone, like when you're kids, you probably both are watching it on one iPhone. maybe not.
well, maybe
I'm
our
imagining, like-
generation. Well, we missed the well, we didn't miss it, but they used to have the DVD player, the portable DVD players that you could pop something in,
Mhm.
and that's like super tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think
And,
most
and
people
the
had
movies
headphones.
on the back of the minivan, those were really small.
That's
like
I
on the
have
ba-
my
the
van.
headrest.
I still,
Yeah.
if you want to watch them, I still have a vehicle where you can
Yeah.
It's all good.
What's the screen size? 8 inches, 6 inches.
Oh, wait. It'd be funny to just put an
7.4.
iPad next up to it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for getting off track. Arcane, but we have a lot to watch and we have a lot to plan. So we are shooting for early December. We will let you know the exact date. It will be the 4th or the 11th when we will do an epic, long episode. We might even have a break in there. And we will talk through an intermission, and we will talk through each of the 3 acts in detail. So it'll be like 3 in 1. So it's going to be very exciting. You do not want to miss it.
Don't. No.
So be there.
Perhaps even a recap of the first season too.
Perhaps.
Probably.
Perhaps.
Quinn might have a lot to talk about.
You guys have
digesting
probably
a lot.
forgotten all the things. I'll refresh your memory.
And you guys might be saying, how do I not? I don't want to miss this. You're correct. Like, how do I make sure I watch this? And all you have to do is follow us on social media.
Subscribe.
On Instagram.
Quarter Life
Follow
Critics.
us. Quarter Life Critics is our handle on Instagram. You can follow us there. And then in our bio, that's our YouTube, where you can go there and subscribe.
Just go to YouTube too. That's skip the middleman. YouTube, subscribe. Bam, you're there.
Yeah, but like Quarter Life Critics does not really come up when I look it up.
We gotta fix Grant's algorithm.
Doesn't come up for mine either.
It's weird because we have so many subscribers.
Yeah, it is kind of strange.
So YouTube,
we'll figure that out
Quarter
next
Life
time
Critics,
for sure. Yeah, we'll get it.
Instagram, our handle is Quarter Life Critics, all one string. You can follow us there as well. It was a pleasure, and we will see you guys in a month or so. Thank you all for watching and listening. Until next time, peace.
Peace.